Sorry? No, no, that's true. I'm just keeping it there. That's
Yes, sir.
Please be seated. Your positive thinking combined with positive action leads to success. Very rightly quoted by Shiv. Today, we are very honored to have amongst us Mr. Vijay Rajvaidya, Major General Sashikant Pitre and Mrs. Pitre, Brigadier Prathamesh Raina and Mr. Ravindra Raina, Mr. Anand Halbe and Mrs. Halbe, our founder president and managing trustee, Colonel Vinod Marwa, our MD, Dr. Jay Singh, our Dean, Dr. Poonam Nikam, Director Administration, Colonel Ravindra Kumar, all the faculty members and students of 24th batch of PGDM program. I, Hardik Unadkat, MC for the day, welcome you all to the Bodhan Corporate Guest Series. I would now like to request you all to kindly rise for the national anthem. Please be seated. I would now like to request Major General Sashikant Pitre to felicitate our guest, Mr. Vijay Rajvaidya. Thank you, sir. I am very delighted to introduce our guest, Mr. Vijay Rajvaidya. Sir, may I have your permission to begin? Thank you, sir. Mr. Vijay Rajvaidya, a resident of United States of America, has been living in San Jose, California for over 40 years. His origins are from Indore in Madhya Pradesh, where he attended a government school before getting his engineering degree. Like many Indian students, he came to US for his further studies to make a career for himself. He is currently the managing director and CFO of India Currents, a leading publication on the west coast of America. Beyond his day jobs, he has many other facets which make him a well-rounded human being. Professionally, he has been in the high-tech industry in the Silicon Valley, where he was a software engineer, a high-tech marketing executive for technology products. Being multifaceted, Sir has a passion for Indian knowledge systems and is keen on about Indian culture and Indian heritage. In addition to this, he is also a Hindu priest and an actor on Hindi stage. He is a qualified pilot and a certified scuba diver. He is an active Rotarian and a fellow of Indica, an organization which is dedicated to the preservation, protection, and promotion of Indian culture and heritage. I would now like to request Mr. Vijay Rajvaidya, sir, to kindly address the young minds.
Yes, sir. Sir, make a column. Which is paper? Make a column.
I didn't get you. What are you asking?
Hello, hello.
Okay, great.
Good afternoon, everybody. If you had a good lunch and feeling a little bit sleepy, I'm not going to let you do that because, yes, I'll keep you awake. I speak very loudly of this.
He said there are no free lunches.
So, as you know, I live in the United States, and I started this journey sometime back in 2022 of walking through 12 Jyotirling temples. Now, I'm not going to talk to you from here as a lecture. I want you to talk to me too. It is going to be a conversation. And my first question to you is, do you know where these 12 temples are?
Yes, sir.
Wow, so many years. Anybody, just get up and tell me the first one. Yes. Kedarnath, great. Thank you. Anybody else? That's one. Yes, sir. Yes, please. Oh, wow. Vantikapuri. That kind of wasn't expected. That is the ancient name for Ujjain. It used to be the intellectual capital of our country. Yes. So, should I continue, or you have already briefed them all, or they have been all is right in the map up there, which I didn't realize that. But I don't think that you can read all of them over there. Yes, no, oh, it is there. Great. So you have it up here. And I started on in 2022 on 5th of May. You know how it is like in May, right? Yes, I wanted to experience that heat because I hadn't for last 40 years. So I started walking from that place up there, Ujjain. Okay, okay. Yes, can you see it? Oh, it's there too. Very good. Thank you. I'm not going to point over there. Maybe I'll have to walk there and do it. Right here. That is Ujjain. And I walked from there to Omkareshwar, which is about 150 kilometers down south on the banks of Narmada. And then from there to Somnath in Gujarat. Okay? And from there to Nageshwar. And this time I walked from here all the way and entered Rajasthan. Up here, that's where I stopped. Going forward, I will be tracing that path. I'm on my way to Kedarnath, and from there to Banaras, Vishwanath, and from there to Bihar Jharkhand border, that is Badna. And there it begins the longest walk, 1850 kilometers down south all the way to Mallikarjun, that is in Andhra Pradesh. Okay? And from there to Rameshwar, you must have heard about Rameshwar. Everybody must have heard about Rameshwar, right? It's a very beautiful place. and from Rameshwar up to your neighborhood, Bhimashankar. Yes, but you know that path that I have shown over there is going to change slightly because from Rameshwar I want to go horizontally to west and into Kerala because on the way there is a birthplace of one great seer whose path I'm following right now. His name is Adi Shankaracharya. Yes, he was born in Keladi village right there. And I am trying to trace what he did in, anybody here? 722 AD. That's the time he walked from Keladi to Omkareshwar. And that's where he studied for 4 years, kind of undergrad course. Okay. And how old he was? He was 12 years old when he walked all the way to Omkareshwar. How old do you think I am? We got to get to that's too less. I am getting to 72. All right, so he covered the other end, I'm going to cover the other end. Both ends of this spectrum. How about that? Right? So it is kind of, I'm trying to match the difficulty level also, maybe. His strides might have been smaller, mine are bigger, but he was stronger and more spirited than probably I am, but somehow we are trying to do the similar thing. And also not only the physical walking of this, but I'm trying to replicate the objectives also. Why did he do that? And there's a story behind this. You know, I was in 7th grade in a school when I first time read about Adi Shankaracharya's travel. And you know what I thought? That's not true. This looks like some superhuman being. It must be a story. That's what I thought. And then I thought that no, they're not talking about, and this is true, they're not talking about human being. I think they're talking about the Lord Shankar, Shiva Shankar. That's why Bholenath, this one. And somehow my teacher, and this is the truth, my teacher understood my confusion. And he said that, Vijay, this is not Bholenath. This is a person, a human being who did that. And the name of that teacher was Qureshi. He was knowledgeable about this thing, and he really corrected me on that. So that I was very curious about this. That how can somebody make this effort and walk all the way at that age? Not only physical but intellectual too, because at the age of 12 he started studying what you would generally think we do at the level of college or up to master's level. And by 16 he was graduate from there. And he had the first debate with Mandan Mishra. And that happened right on the side of Omkareshwar, this place called Maheshwar, where I walked through. So this was the story. But then it just remained as a thought in my mind. Okay. And there's another thing happened. 8th grade, this was a Hindi medium school. English was the second language. And I had this teacher, Mr. Bhange. Bhange sir was English teacher. Okay. And he gave one day a task to all of us to write an essay. And the essay was, write about an accident. Either you are involved in the accident or you are just watching. So everybody wrote about a bus accident or a car accident, and some people ventured into train accident, and I did not go that route. I went to him and I asked him, I want to write about a plane crash. How about that? And in those days, you won't see much of planes in the sky even. You know, there were not any. I was talking about 1965. That is the time. So he was the first one who told me, okay, you're gonna do this thing. You are flying to United States. And there is a university called Stanford University. You familiar with Stanford University? Right? Where is it? What part of US? Anybody? Any state name or anything? So it's on the west coast of America, California, near San Francisco. Heard of that city? What other cities have you heard of? America, USA.
Texas,
Yeah, yeah.
Texas, Texas.
Oh, Texas is a state. Okay. Cities. Okay, very good, very good. I asked this question in a small village in Gujarat, the same question to the middle schoolers. And these are the city names they also told me. It's strange, isn't it? These cities. Nobody talked about San Francisco. Nobody knew about San Francisco. Yeah, they also talked about one more, Los Angeles. I didn't hear if you said Los Angeles. Really, where Hollywood is, right? So he said that you're flying to Stanford, which is near San Francisco, and you have a plane crash and you wrote this. You write that thing. I wrote it. I got my top grade in that. That was 1965. I got admitted to the engineering program of graduate engineering program in Stanford in 1987. The seed was planted by Bhandya sir when I was not aware of anything, had no desire to go to US either at that time. But something is sparked, something did, and it worked. So why am I telling you this? If you want to aim high. Don't aim low. Aim really high. And then work on it. Work your dream. Just aiming won't work. You have to shoot too, right? So you have to work on it. And live with that dream forever. Do not let go of that dream. You know, most of the time we do that. We think that, oh my God, this is not terrible. Or sometimes somebody will tell you, you are not pragmatic. That's not true. You have to aim high and you have to live with it, and you'll get it. So that's what happened with me. It took a weird path, a weird journey, but I ended up, and for that, I'm very grateful to the schooling I had. This was a government school, no fees. But the teachers I had, oh my goodness, you know, they could fire this up. So when I was walking from Mahakaleshwar to Omkareshwar over there, I stopped at a flower shop. And there was this girl selling flowers. And for some reason, I stopped and asked her, and this is in the video. And actually, one of the slides, there's a picture of that girl, right? I think later on, yes. And I asked her, well, what is she studying? And she says she's in high school and all that, 10th grade. And then I asked what she wanted to become. And she said she wants to become an IPS officer. Okay. The flower girl, and I asked which school she's going. She was going to the similar school that I had gone to. It was no different. It was a government school. And yes, she can become IPS officer. So what I'm trying to tell that was just one aspect, but when I went to number of places, walked through the villages and talked to students, oh my God, they will tell me the dreams, fantastic. Wanted to become an engineer, wanted to become a doctor. This is not what we used to hear 20, 30 years back. So kids, the children are very aspirational too, and they are working towards it. And there's one strange thing happened when I was in the very interior part of this, Western Madhya Pradesh. Right here, just at the edge of the there, I was walking in the morning. I start walking early morning, 4 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. You know, depending upon the temperature. If it is a little bit hotter, then I start doing early in the night so that when the sun comes up, I'm done. I have to walk 12 to 14 hours, so it has to get over by that time, you know, before it gets too hot. There was this little boy who was taking his goats for grazing. And what do you think? What would you think about when you see something like this in the interior of the country, in the village, outside a village? So my first question to him was that पढ़ाई की है, school गए हो? And this guy said, yes, I'm a second year student of college. And He says, Abhi, I will drop these goats in the grazing field and I'll go to the class. I have a class at 9 o'clock. Have you ever thought about that a shepherd doing this and going to school? I haven't, right? So I assumed that no, this guy is done with his education, if at all he had any. But here was the guy, he was doing this thing and he was going to college. So it was very, very varied experience I'm getting when I'm talking and I'm going through this. And every place, by the way, this time, just 2 weeks back, I was in Run of Kutch. Ever heard of Run of Kutch, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Right? So there are two runs, bigger and the little one. And I walked to the little run. I chose to walk to the little one. I was supposed to circle that. But last minute I said, when will I get a chance to go through this? So I just took that challenge and walked through that. And while approaching the run and getting out of the run, there are multiple villages. And they are not on the tourist map. Nobody goes there. And they suddenly see this person, this guard. Look at this one, this one. So multiple pictures in this are from those villages, by the way. People were thrilled. They were overwhelmed. They had not seen anything like this. Somebody walking through that, to a pilgrim walking through their villages. So on the one lane highway, that metal road, people going on motorcycles or cars, not cars, tractors or motorcycles. They will stop, they'll touch my feet, they'll ask for blessings. Okay? So much of love and affection, and then some will just pass by. So I would think that they don't be impressed by that, right? But no, what happened is when those who went by, they were waiting at the village. They knew that I'm going there. They were waiting at the village and they told me with their family, and they'll take me to their homes. Here, this guy took me to his home, his two daughters, his wife, and he would treat me like I am the very honored guest over there, and all he wants is a blessing. That's all. And this gentleman over here, he came out of cancer surgery, and he just wanted me to bless him for that. And he was running this small chakki in a village of 1,000 people. So, real village, real rural, real India with all aspirations. That is what I'm getting. So, and that's my blessing. That's my blessing. So the real thing over here is Shankaracharya did it 12, I'm doing it at my age, whatever. There's one thing here you must have noticed, that difficulties are all and limitations are all in your mind alone. They're not there really. If you can get out of that, you can do anything. Anything, I'm saying. All right. So you will see a lot of inspirational movies and other stories and all, but this distilled principle behind that is that limitations are in minds alone. They're not in body. Overcome that. There's one more thing. When I started this, I must have, before I started this, I must have slept with this idea for at least 20 years. I was thinking that too. And every time something else would happen, it won't happen. And you can keep on planning for things and keep on postponing and it won't happen. All right? But then suddenly I had to just for the conflict and says, yes, I'm going to do that. At 2 a.m. I started from Mahakaleshwar temple, and you see this mala over here. This the one was given to me by the Mahakaleshwar Pujari, and he said this will protect you. And I'll tell you how it protected me. But he gave me that thing. And 2 o'clock I just started. I was sick of planning. So the idea over here is there is no second step until you take the first one. And yeah, you should plan a little bit, but just don't get down into it so much that you cannot take the first step. So the first step has to be taken. Second, 90% of the limitations in the second step will go away if you take that first step. because that's where all that planning is in the first step. You have taken that, it goes. So first step is important, whatever you want to do, however small that step is, but take that step. Don't stop. So I used to dress like this when I walked for first segment from Mahakaleshwar to Omkareshwar. This one. By the way, that path passes through pretty good jungle, forest. It's a leopard infested forest, And I didn't pay much attention to it. I walked through it and I didn't have any protection. I was alone. And at times, because it was summer, May, I tried 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. so it will be dark. And I tried 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. also. And that would also end in the darkness. And I just was lucky or something and I survived. That happened. But going forward, I was passing from Omkareshwar and I did the first leg towards Somnath from Omkareshwar. And that's where all realities started coming. I used to dress in the white t-shirt, shorts, khaki shorts, and this mala, all right, Rudraksh mala. And at one place, lonely, only tractors going, trucking tractors, filled with something, didn't pay attention. And then suddenly there was a bridge, and I saw that on that bridge there were two people standing like this, with a motorcycle, waiting for me. Right? And in a second, it clicked to me what has happened. These trailers were filled with sand. They were mining illegal sand. Sand mafia, they are called. Right? I was dressed like this. And they thought I'm somebody snooping on them. I could not take the phone out because if I take the phone out, and thank God I had that thought, Lord gave me that thought, I didn't take the phone out because if I take the phone out, I'm giving validation to them that, yes, I'm somebody who's calling for help. And I didn't take the phone out. So here is my NCC training. I marched looking straight, eyes not this way, not that way. In between, I walked in, they didn't do anything. They didn't do anything. They just looked at me. And if I had done anything, missed a step or something, probably it would have been a history. But then I glanced after passing them, there were trucks loading sand there. Okay. The only doubt probably that they had in their minds that this is not an informant is because of that mala. That thing, that somehow strangely protected. And then subsequently I started getting each temple one. So Somnath and Nageshwar, so this I'm collecting. So by the end of this journey, I'll have 12 of them. I wear all. So I switched. There's one more instance happened, and then I switched to that garb. I wanted to look more religious, but I talked to my friends in the police force, and they said they were thinking you are an informer. You are an informer. So that had to go. So I did that, and that has served me well so far. But then there are quadrupeds. They don't understand. Most of them are colorblind. So what happens is, whichever garb it is something else that works with them. And food works with them, right? So when I used to walk in the dark, I never knew what part of the jungle or place I'm walking. And once when it was morning, I suddenly saw a big board in front of me, which shows a big picture of leopard, and it says that leopards cross the road here, please drive slowly. I was astounded. I said, okay, wonderful. For once, that is a lesson. Anyway, I arranged for a car to follow me. And in the darkness, the car had to put the lights on, and the driver was trained in a protocol. I said, I need 10 seconds to get into the car if I see a leopard or any other dangerous animal to get into the car. And during that time, he has to honk and drive fast to get next to me so that I can get it. And I have to be eliminated in this headlight. That's the precaution I started taking from that day onward. And lo and behold, next day itself, near Alirajpur, at the border of MP, it was pretty good forest. And I didn't see, I was hearing a lot of rustling sound next to me on the bushes, and somebody was talking. Some animal was talking me, but I thought it was harmless. Must be some harmless. Nobody is showing, nothing is showing up. But that guy saw it, two pairs of eyes coming closer to me. So that protocol kicked in, and I got in the car, and then we waited until daylight. And at the daylight, there was a board, of course. I was not seeing it. Highness. There was a highness. It was a bit dangerous. Okay, they don't leave you alone. They take a big bite of very dangerous. Safe because of that. So there was this car and there was this Raj. These two things have saved me at times. And this thing is getting refined as I go more and more, forward. It's happening. I mean, even this last week, one day, 4 o'clock, I reached the spot where it will start. And as I told you about this case of this hyenas that I was hearing the stalking animal, because the bushes were something that far from the road. I'm walking here, the bushes were there. There was some, even if the animal shows up, it will take some time for the animal to come to this much, and the guy will start honking or something. But here, the bushes were on here, on the road, meaning the animal could just come out. And I did not, I sat in the car for 2 hours again for the daylight and then walked in. So there are new things are happening, and now we passed through in that when General Pitre joined me, Anand joined me, Mirabai joined me, Mrs. Pitre joined me. We passed to the lion forest, Gir forest, Asiatic lions, yes. And we didn't sight any lions. And we had talked to the forest department, the conservator, and everybody, and they told us that we had to stick to walking in the daylight time. But after this was done, and the guy called me on again, Francis from Ahmedabad, how was it? And I said that we didn't see any lions or anything. And he told me that it doesn't mean that they didn't see you. Okay. They were just nice. so that's good that you didn't see them. And that's fine. So our 2 trips down the road, we might encounter going through or around Corbett. And that is the nastiest animal. I mean, all others are a little slow and this thing, but tiger you cannot. Lions are gentle. They respect human beings, but tigers don't. So you'll have to figure out some other protocol or something. So anyway, I want to stop here and I want to ask if you have any questions. There. If you don't have any questions, that means you ate too much today. The front seat, yeah, there it is. Adi. So Kedarnath is the target seat up there. No, there is the path, this blue path, the Kedarnath. So I'm not going towards Kashmir. Rajasthan to Haryana, Haryana to Uttar Pradesh to Uttarakhand, and up there, Kedarnath, and then I come down. So this is about 12 Jyotirling temples. I am only 12. I know, yes, but only 12 Jyotirling temples. These are the specific 12 temples. Yes. Yes.
Sir, what motivated you to travel all 12 Jyotirlingas?
Very good question. Very good question. I told you about 2 or 3 things here. If I tell you my everything that happened from the day Mr. Bhangay told me that I am flying to San Francisco, Stanford University to do this, and then da da da. or whatever followed, it's full of such decisions where I had to take a very hard decision where generally you may have, most of the people would not take because these are hard decisions. This one was also, and yes, I'm glad you asked this question because I'm not yet talked about the objectives of this. I totally skipped that one, yes. So my answer will explain the objectives that will answer your question. So objective of this walk was not just my personal spiritual seeking, but it is similar to what Adi Shankaracharya did in 722 AD. He was trying to educate people in our culture and our heritage. Okay? And we are trying to achieve the same thing. So you see here rotary thing, right? So I am on my way, I go to schools. I was telling you about the kids talking to the school students. I go to them and motivate them to participate in a program that is run by Rotary. It is called Each One Teach One. It is for the students to pick one person who is illiterate and go through a little coursework that they have so that they can read, write, multiply, add, subtract, division, simple things, just simple things, and we give them certificate on. So I am participating in that literacy enhancement program. That is one. Second thing is we also want to educate the world about us. And we have been doing for centuries. Swami Vivekananda went to America and he tried to educate people. And Chinmayananji went there and he did. And many such people, great people, have gone, saints, seers, who have tried to do this. But we want to start a proper course in the universities in America where they can take a degree in that. And for that, we need support from the people from here as well as anywhere in the world. So we are trying to collect that and gather that support so that we can start these courses. So these are the two items that motivated me to start this program. Any other question? Yeah.
Hi, sir. I'm Pratima. So my question is, while walking through, you never thought of stopping at one
Stopping meaning ending it there.
while facing all the challenges and everything. Did this thought came into your mind?
No, because right from the early on, my fascination was with Adi Shankaracharya, who did the whole travel multiple times, by the way. He went through up and down and east to west multiple times at that age. And yeah, so I did not plan for stopping anywhere. No. Thank you. Anybody else? Yes.
Before the starting of journey and after the journey, what changes did you feel during after that journey?
Changes in what?
In terms of good changes or
Oh my God, yes. So, in our, very good question actually. You know what we call in our old practices something called tapasya? Tapasya is what? It is actually physical hardship as well as meditation. Most importantly is meditation. I'm walking for 12 hours or 14 hours. My wife told me that I should load my phone with a lot of music so that I can listen to this. And I tell you, I did not need that even for a single second. I have not yet, I walked 1800 kilometers. I have to walk 9,000 kilometers. Okay? But I have not needed any music and I will not need any music because that 12 to 14 hours goes in thought of good thoughts, meditation. That is what the change that brings in is phenomenal. I wish I have another hour to just explain that change, but it grounds you. It totally grounds you. Yes. Yes, sir.
Jai Hind, sir. Abhinav this side. Sir, how much this trip costed you in terms of money?
Here is a pragmatic person. That's very good. Yes, it cost me some money, not very whole lot, but see the chunk of the chunk of their cost is in my traveling from US to India every time. I try to do this twice a year, 15 days each time. And in each 15 days, I walk about 500 to 600 kilometers, somewhere 550 or some such kilometers per 15 days. All right. So that comes down to each day 35, 45 kilometers every day. Now, actually walking and during that time staying and all that does not cost a whole lot. The air travel costs a chunk of it. So if you take that out, then it is manageable by anybody, by the way. And secondly, understand, when I'm walking through this, I'm not finding hotels to stay. There are no hotels. Most of the places, there are no hotels. I'm staying in temples. And this time, I stayed in a petrol pump. So, hey, you have to do whatever is possible, right? So that staying thing also is not like I have 4-star, 3-star hotel available every time. No, it's not there. So whatever is available, you have to make do. That's what we are doing. Okay. Good question, by the way. Anybody else? Yes.
Jai Hind, sir.
Hmm.
Jai Hind. Sir, as we know that all 12 Jyotirlings carry different meanings. So, what different type of changes you observed while traveling to each of the Jyotirlings?
So, giving you a very practical answer is in the physical difficulty of that. Each Jyotirling is a culmination of a long journey. And that long journey has its own character. Whether I'm passing through difficult terrain, this time I had to walk through run-up patch. It's a difficult thing. So a sense of achievement and that empowerment is different at each destination. All right. But if you're talking about the spiritual values, yes, that one has to experience and enhance. I cannot express that, okay, I got that. No, I cannot say that. Yeah, it's not possible to say that. But this is the segments, those give me different learning, different experience. Probably that is what the purpose of when people said in the old times that, hey, you should, real journey is in walking through this. You are exposed to so many people, so many types of people. You learn so much, and above and all, environment. Everything is different. Pollen is different in air. Insects are different. Weather is different. Your body is enriching. It is strengthening. When you go through this kind of variations, you develop pretty good strength, internal strength to resist any of such things that can otherwise cause a lot of discomfort, right? So yes, those are the changes that happen inherently, and it takes time to experience that. So I'm sorry I cannot give you a cut and dry answer. Oh yes, you were asking.
Yes, sir.
Jay?
In your journey, what's your daily morning routine?
Oh, wow.
As you say, there's no accommodation, hotel accommodation.
Yes. Yeah, very good question. Actually, yes, that's a real practical down to earth question. Yes, the morning. What happens is early morning. I try to start, as I said, between 2 to 4, depending upon the weather. And when you're walking this long, you can't load up yourself with calories to. It is just uncomfortable. It's not very easy to walk. So I minimal amount of some food that can be, like a fruit, a banana. Okay, but and then what I do is for 12 hours of walking, don't get much time in staying down and sitting down and having a lunch or anything. So I take pauses every 2 hours. And those 2 hours pauses could be either 15 minutes or say 20 to 30 minutes, depending upon who I am talking to most of the time. There are people, when I encounter people, they are very engaging sometimes and it becomes half an hour. But during that time, I try to eat something just to make up calories. And those calories, you won't believe, are most of the time supplied from Pune. My friend here, Anand, brings a lot of goodies that are there in the car. So I stop and ask my car and I get something to eat that just compensates for the calories. So the only time I eat really meal is in the evening after finishing that. So I am surviving on Pune calories. Okay, that's the answer. And I consume a lot of fluid. You consume a lot because you're walking. You're losing a lot of fluid. So besides water and electrolyte, I tend to drink a lot of milk and a lot of buttermilk. Amul is available most of the places. So I do that. Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
So we all seek for purpose in life. So do you think this fulfill your purpose, or will you be striving for more challenges?
Challenges, seeking challenges is intoxicating. It never ends. One challenge ends, you want a bigger challenge. It doesn't work that way, that you stop something. So there will be other one. It's not going to stop like this. I have done this all my life and I'll keep doing it. So there is nothing that will stop. Yes. Fulfillment is always there, but what does it do? It's only incremental. It is not something you know that at this level I'm fulfilled. There's no such thing. Brigadier, I think you had a question. I can read it on your face.
So I had a number of there.
Oh, please.
Most of them been asked.
Okay.
Tell me this photograph down the middle one.
Oh,
Is that the run?
absolutely. That is John of Kutch. It is the most inhospitable, one of the most inhospitable terrains, there. This is, you see that it is not sand, it is a caked clay, caked clay. And it's so easy to get lost in it, but there's nothing, no feature for you.
Yes,
And nothing oriented. The Google, generally I rely on Google with the same directions, but there's no signal here. Everywhere else there was good signal, but in the Rann Patch there's no signal. So when I start at 4 o'clock, wherever I stop, I have to find a place to sleep. I go and rest, and then when I come back to that place in the morning, over here I couldn't find out where I start, although I had done a lot of work to, whatever I could do to spot that place, but I could not, and I got lost. And I found it also, and I found the exact place. So I got lost twice in the dark and in the daytime, and somehow I managed to find myself place. Yeah. So that's Rann of Kutch. It is very, very challenging. Very challenging.
Slightly more profound question.
Mhm.
You were retracing practically the steps of
Adi.
he was instrumental in practically unifying
Yes.
the country at that time, in that period. You're doing something similar here. It's profound.
Yes. Thank you.
How do you want, to spread this message to the rest of the country? How do you propose to achieve that? And what kind of help are you looking at from the rest of the population?
Yeah. Thank you so much. That is indeed profound question. Yes. So first of all, you're right. The objectives are similar. He wanted to educate and intellectually unify the country, he meaning Adi Shankaracha. And I am trying to do similar thing at a bigger scale. I'm trying to unify the world and educate them in our history, our culture, our heritage. Because for two reasons. The world has shrunk, that is one. And second is there's a uniformity that is happening. We are everywhere now in the world, we meaning Indians. So there are cultural representatives physically in all the countries around. So if they are there, and if we can educate them or their surroundings in our culture, that is a bigger unification. So idea is not unification the point of view that it loses its variety, but it is the intellectual unification in the sense that you learn about everything, not just one thing, and don't isolate. And whatever you don't know, you start fearing that ignorance, and you start saying that you start disliking or whatever. So education is what we are trying to do. So that's what. I forgot the second part. You were asking me how you want to achieve that.
Yeah,
Right?
how do you want to achieve and do you expect or anticipate some sort of help from the government?
Government is one of them. I expect help from everybody. People of high net worth, other cultural organizations, other social organizations, everything. I seek help from everybody. And how I spread that word, to spread that word, there's a fundamental requirement. fundamental requirement is the credibility. How, if I ask somebody for something, how credible I sound that I will execute what I'm promising to execute. And this tapasya is the validation. So why am I walking? Otherwise, I could have just gone around and say that, hey, I want to do this, I want to fund this work, and I'm forming this organization, please help me. But then I'm walking for this very purpose that I want to tell them that I am capable of executing this hard work that I'm undertaking. And here's the proof. And it has worked. It has worked because I know people, there is a gentleman from Singapore who immediately recognized this, and he was the first person. Then there is right here somebody who recognized this, and that is the validation. Don't you think that this is something that is a proof to the sincerity of it? That's how it works, isn't it? No, I think that you feel that it is yes. That is why I'm asking. So that is the first step, and that is the first step I have been telling you. Take first step, second will happen by itself. The second is a mechanical step. The first one is a profound step, because that's a difficult step. I'm taking that. Thank you. You're welcome. Anybody else? Oh, yes. Jai Hind. What's my next what? Plan. My next plan. So, walk of life. By these three words, don't you think it stands and falls and expands and covers everything, the whole spectrum? So I don't think there is anything next. Everything that physically appears to be next is in this. It is walk of life. So I have not limited the walk of life to Jyotirling thing. It is just walk of life. As long as the life remains, you walk. And that's walk of life. Yes. Anybody? Any question? Any more? Or we just call it a day? Colonel, is that okay? All right. Thank you so much for your patience, listening, and I hope you had good lunch.
What were you saying at that time? I was saying you or follow
I would like to extend my sincerest gratitude to you, sir. Thank you for conducting this remarkable and enlightening session. I would also like to thank Major General Sashikant Pitre and Mrs. Pitre, Brigadier Prathamesh Raina and Mr. Ravindra Raina, Mr. Anand Halbe and Mrs. Halbe for gracing the event with their presence. Thank you so much, and we look forward for your next visit to our campus soon.
Thank
you.
Yes, sir, Joyce. Yes.
Close this down. No, you didn't need to do that. We had kept this only for the map. It's there. It's on Thank you.
Thank you both.
Not to worry. We're used to doing this all ourselves.
That's a